I describe imposter syndrome as having three elements to it. The first is the belief that other people have an inflated view of your own abilities or skills, a far more inflated view than you have of yourself. The second factor is that you have this intense fear that you'll be found out and exposed as a fake. And the third element is that you constantly attribute your success that you do recognise to other factors outside of your own abilities or talent. Imposter syndrome can feel like a dissonance or a disconnect, but if you have it a lot and you're constantly feeling that way, then the disconnect between what you see as yourself and your public view just grows bigger, and you feel fake and you feel an imposter. Imposter syndrome is something that affects so many of us that actually to call it a syndrome is probably a little bit inaccurate, because that suggests it's kind of a mental health condition or there's something wrong with us. But when it's 70% of us, it's probably more likely to be something that is almost normal, really. You can't have imposter syndrome without being successful. You've got people like Tom Hanks, who you'd think, well, they've made it, they must be confident in their abilities.
No matter who we are, no matter what we've done, there comes a point where you think, how did I get here, and am I going to be able to continue this? When are they going to discover that I am, in fact, a fraud and take everything away from me?
And I think a little bit of self-doubt is very good for self-development. The imposter syndrome people are the ones double-checking their work, working really hard, trying to get everything right, never satisfied, always looking for more training opportunities and more learning opportunities. And those are all potentially good things. There are a number of factors from childhood that may contribute to imposter syndrome. When children are put on a pedestal, that's a very, very difficult premise to live up to, and that can help make you feel an imposter, because if you're not perfect, then you're not the golden child that they think you are. The term imposter syndrome was first coined in 1978 by Pauline Clance and Suzanne Eames in a paper that they entitled Imposter Phenomenon in High Achieving Women. So it was originally something that was thought to only affect women. When we talk about imposter syndrome in the workplace, I see that as the same for men and women, but I do see a lot of men who don't think they're man enough. Social media has a huge role to play in imposter syndrome. We can see everybody else's successful lives. The more we present our best self to the world, the more other people will develop imposter syndrome, because they're never going to measure up. I've had people who wanted to give up their jobs, their high-flying jobs, because they fear so much being found out that they'd rather give it up and hand in their notice, even though, objectively, that they're not fake and objectively they are successful. If you think that you're suffering from imposter syndrome, actually look objectively at your successes. Write down the things that you are successful at, and then look at all the reasons why you might have achieved that success. Assign a percentage score as to how much you think that factor contributed to that achievement. You can mistakenly attribute all of it to luck, but when you put it down on paper, you'll realise how ridiculous that is. So it's a bit of a reality check, and it makes you stop and acknowledge your successes. Imposters feel that they can't accept anything that's less than perfect. Learn to make mistakes and to accept failure. You don't have to be brilliant all the time, but you can be good enough.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to receive notifications for new videos. See you again soon.